Hey guys, what is up? What's good? It's your girl Ashley and welcome back to the channel. So for today's video, what I'm going to be doing is a dupe video. I'm going to be duping cheap eyeshadows versus high-end eyeshadows. In fact, they are complete palettes. I'm bringing to you guys another one of my bad habits video where I dupe a bad habits palette with a high-end eyeshadow palette. Bad Habits released the Aphrodite palette over on SMASHH and I was like, I need to film a video. So that's what we're doing. Today, I'm gonna be sharing with you guys this palette on one side of my face, and I'm also going to be sharing with you guys this palette on one side of my face. And this is the Huda Beauty Rose Gold Edition palette. Pause the video before we begin. You guys know the drill. Let me know which side you think is high end and which side you think is cheap. And don't be cheating. Let me just say this. Save all your coins. If you guys are new to my channel, don't forget to press that subscribe button and also click that little bell so that way you guys are notified anytime I upload a new video, which is 2 times a week, every single week. And without further ado, we're just gonna get into it. Actually, before we jump into shadow application, I wanna give you guys some specs on each palette so that way you guys can get the real raw tea. You feel me? So first and foremost, we have this. This is the Huda Beauty eyeshadow palette. This is her Rose Gold Edition. I've heard rumors that this is gonna be discontinued, which is insane because it seems to be a very, very popular palette, especially over on Instagram. Like every Instagram girl has this. Y'all know I'm right. Anyways, it says retail for $65. 65, yes, that is a lot of money for a shadow palette. I don't know, I think that's pretty expensive, but I will say that she did an amazing job with the packaging, the formula, the texture. They're super creamy, they're super buttery, they're super pigmented. I will say that they aren't as blendable as I would have hoped, but that's just me. It may just be my palette. Let me know if you own this palette and you have trouble blending the shades. I would definitely love to know, but once you open it, it has like this cardboard sleeve right here, wham bam. Huda Beauty eyeshadow palette, Rose Gold Edition, right here in my hand. So as you can see, I did kind of tear her up a little bit, not too bad though. I'm gonna do swatches on my arm right here. I have the Huda Beauty palette swatch on my arms. Keep in mind, I don't do just like a finger swatch. That's not my thing. I don't do that just because in reality, you're not going to take your brush and then do one swipe on your eyelids. You're going to pack the color on. You're going to go over it a few times. That's a realistic way to think about eyeshadow swatches. You don't want to just do it one time and be like, oh, that sucks. Obviously, because you didn't really put in the effort to get the most out of the product. So that is the Huda Beauty palette swatch on my arm. I am going to be comparing it to this guy right here, which is the Aphrodite palette by Bad Habits. I did a video featuring the Royals Bad Habit palette and I did dupe it with the ABH Modern Renaissance palette. So check it out in the cards if you guys haven't seen it, but it comes in a cardboard sleeve just like the Huda Beauty palette. Unfortunately, it doesn't have like a clear casing in the front. I wish it did just because I really like the way she did this. I like that I'm able to see the shadows as soon as I pull it out of the cardboard, but this is what it looks like. Once you open it up, it comes with a full-size mirror, which let me just say, A+. And then it has the shadows right here. Obviously, if I hold both of them up next to each other, they're dead on insane. The only thing is that obviously the Aphrodite palette, the colors are in a completely different order than this palette. This is what the Aphrodite palette looks like swatched on my arm. Just by looking at the swatches on my arm, you can definitely see the potential is there in this palette. Do I think the formula is a straight on dupe for the Huda Beauty palette? Absolutely not. But I feel like if you want very similar colors and like slight similar textures, then this is an awesome buy. I will say that you can only buy Bad Habits exclusively over on shoppush.com. I would have them linked down below. I also have a coupon code with them from my last video. So if you want to save some cash, I will link that also in the description box. But I'm gonna put the swatches together so that way you guys can see in comparison what each palette looks like. They are off. I feel like some of the reds are a little bit more berry in the Aphrodite palette, but I really don't think it's killing the vibe at all. Keep in mind, those are just my thoughts. Those are the specs. That's kind of what I got out of each palette. So let's now get into shadow application. So on the left side of my face, I'm gonna be using the Bad Habit Aphrodite palette. And then on the right side of my face, I'm gonna use the Huda Beauty Rose Gold Edition palette. So left is gonna be cheap, right is gonna be high end. I will be priming my eyelids with the same exact thing. So that way we get the same exact, you know, effect, hopefully. Let's just hope, because like I said, I haven't tried either one of these palettes, which is unreal. We're gonna we're gonna test it out together. To prime my eyelids, I'm just gonna use this guy. This is the Ultra HD Invisible Coverage Concealer by Makeup Forever. I'm just using shade R20, and I'm gonna take that on a cream color brush by Sigma. Now you wanna make sure you have a very nice even layer from your lid all the way up underneath your brow bone, because if you don't have an even layer, then things can start to get weird. The shadows can start tugging on certain areas and not other areas, which can cause it to become patchy. So just make sure you have a very nice thin even layer all over the lid. All right, so now that my eyelids are nice and muted on both sides, I'm just gonna go in with a fluffy brush. This one is by Sigma. This is their E25, and I'm just going to buff out like this inner corner and the outer corner, because as you can see, my foundation is done. So I need to be super, super careful not to mess it up. First color I'm gonna go in with in the Aphrodite palette is this one right here. What I'm gonna do with Koi is I'm gonna place it directly in my crease and all the way up underneath my brow bone to set that cream base or that concealer we just applied. Perfect. So I'm gonna switch brushes. It is important that whenever I do these videos that I use clean brushes on each side and I keep track of which brush was used on which eye, so that way I don't cross-contaminate the products and you guys can really get a vision for what each palette has to offer. So moving on, I'm gonna go in with the Huda Beauty palette, and I'm gonna pick up this shade right here. This one is in the shade Bay. Oh, this sucks. Like I was getting ready, I was trying to like put the mirror up to my face, but there's not one, so that kind of sucks. $65 palette with no mirror. How dare you? I'm sure you guys already know what color I'm gonna go in with next. I'm gonna pick up this shade right here called Admire, which is a really pretty kind of like soft brown, and I'm gonna rock it back and forth in my crease with my Sigma E40 blending brush. So I definitely feel like it has good pigmentation. What do you guys think? Now the dupe in the Huda Beauty palette is called Sandalwood, which is right here in the corner. And I'm gonna take that on a clean Sigma brush. Ooh. So that's definitely very, very pigmented upon first application. So right off the bat, I will say that the Huda Beauty one is definitely a lot more buttery and more pigmented. Upon first application, I got a ton of color payoff. Like, do you see that? So from the Aphrodite palette, I'm gonna pick up the shade right here called Jealousy on a Sigma E25 blending brush. And you can just see how much pigment that is. Let me just tap off, because I'm a little scared. I'm gonna take Jealousy and I'm gonna pop her right here in the very outer portion of my lid. Ooh, look at that. It's crazy. And I'm just popping her right here. Now, I'm not really even experiencing all that much fallout with this palette, which is just insane, especially considering this is a deep color. So as you can see, I'm just popping this color right here in the outer portion, and I'm just packing it. Now, don't worry about blending. We're gonna take a clean brush and buff out the edges here in a second. You just really want to build up that pigmentation. Once you have it built up, go in very teensy-tiny circular motions. Once you have that shade built up to your desired intensity, go in with a clean Sigma E25 and then just rock your brush back and forth up in the crease. Now, if you guys want an in-depth video about how to blend eyeshadows, then definitely check out my How to Blend Eyeshadows Like a Pro video. I go in so much detail. I am noticing that when I blend it out, the color kind of disappears a little bit, which is unfortunate considering it was very, very pigmented going on, but we'll go back and reapply. I'm not even gonna fake the funk. This is the cheap side and I'm a little shook. Definitely shook. Now going in with the Huda Beauty palette, the dupe for that shade is gonna be Bossy. So this little guy right here, and I'm gonna take it on a clean Sigma E25. All right, so I'm definitely starting to see the differences between the palette. This one looks a little bit more on kind of like the berry purple tone, whereas this one is a little bit more on the red tone. Things are getting out of control. I'm gonna go in with the clean Sigma E25 and I'm gonna blend out this edge right here. Now I'm noticing that with the Huda Beauty palette, when I blend, it's not blending away a lot of the color like the Bad Habit palette. All right, guys, so this is what we are working with. Now, the left side is definitely a little bit more on the purple side, whereas the Huda Beauty side is a little bit more on the red side. So both sides aren't looking that great as far as blending. I don't know if it's me. It's probably me, but it's all gonna come together in the end. It always does. From the Aphrodite palette, I'm gonna take this shade right here called Infatuation, which is such a gorgeous, I don't even know what to call this, but it is so pretty. Oh my God. Taking it with my finger, I'm just gonna pop it right here in the inner part of my lid. I'm shook. I'm already shook. I know I'm gonna have a ton of fallout. What did I do? I am going to take the shade Infatuation on a concealer brush like this by Anastasia. And I'm also going to spray it with a little bit of my Too Faced 3-in-1 Hangover RX primer spray. And the reason I'm doing this is because I don't want a ton of fallout. I could just see all the little particles dropping on my cheek. This is why you do eyes first, people. This is why you do eyes first. I'm going to pick up a little bit more of the shade called Jealousy, and I'm just going to pop that above it so that way it kind of peeks out. Clean up on aisle 10. Clean up on aisle 10. I'm just going to take my brush and just brush this away. The dupe in the Huda Beauty palette is called Dubai. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start off by applying it with my finger. Ooh, and starting out, it's super creamy on the lid. The Huda Beauty side definitely has a lot more kind of like shimmer, iridescent. With a clean Sigma E36, I'm gonna pick up some of the shade called Bossy from the Huda Beauty palette, and I'm just gonna work it right here in the outer part, just like I did to this side. This is like my favorite brush for like detailing. If you guys don't have it, you need it. I'm just going to use some of my Simple Water Boost Micellar Cleansing Water to remove my face. Like I said, I did film a video before this, which is why I already had foundation on. I should have just took that thing off. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, but I didn't. I just poured some on a cotton round. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove my entire face makeup, and I'm just going to create a very sharp edge. So like I said, sharp edge. Bam, just like that. All right, you guys, so I went ahead and just took off my base so that way I can just focus on blending out the eyeshadows. I felt like before I was like super scared to like ruin the foundation, but now I'm just like, screw it, forget it. It's about the shadows, not the face. So I'm gonna go in with that clean brush for the Aphrodite side, and I'm just going to try to buff out this edge right here. Now, I do believe I took this super high, so I'm gonna show you guys a trick. Going in with this shade right here called Koi, I'm gonna place that on my brow bone, and anytime you apply a brow bone highlight, it kind of acts as like a magic eraser, and it just really helps everything blend together. And I'm just going to take my brush sideways, and then we should be money. Now I wiped the brush off. Now I'm going to go in with the shade called Bay, and I'm going to place it on my brow bone on the Huda Beauty side as well. So this is what I'm working with. I'm just going to pop on some liner, some lashes, my face, and then we'll work on the lower lash line. All right, you guys, we are back. I'm now going to finish things off with my lower lash line. I'm going to mix Seduction and also Jealousy together. I'm just going to go right back and forth like this, tap off, and then just smoke her right down here. Once I have the color placed, I'm just going to go in with a pencil brush and really smoke it out. From the Huda Beauty palette, I'm going to mix this shade and also this shade right here and smoke it on my lower lash line. So Bossy and Cocoa. I feel like it was a lot easier for me to smoke out the cheap side than it is this side over here. I feel like the shadows are skipping a little. I'm thinking I want to add like an inner corner pop. I don't know what color though. Should I just be basic and do gold? Yeah, I'm going to be basic and I'm going to do gold. So I'm going to pick up the shade called Sparks on a pencil brush, and I'm just going to pop her right here in the inner corner. Ooh, that gold is so intense. So pretty. Wowzers. From the Huda Beauty palette, I'm going to take this shade right here called 24K. Back to the eyes, this is the Huda Beauty side, and then this one is the Bad Habits Aphrodite side. All in all, I feel like they are pretty close. Like I said in the video, I do feel like the Huda Beauty side is a little bit more on the red side, whereas the Bad Habits side is a little bit more on the berry side. That doesn't make it a bad palette at all. I will say some of the shades are off as far as like colors, and formula is completely different. I do feel like the Huda Beauty one is a little bit more creamy, it's a little bit more buttery. I will say I had to work a little bit harder to blend out this palette, which was very very shocking considering it was $65. This one was very easy to blend. I will say that when I blended the shadows from this palette, a lot of the color did fade away, so I did have to kind of pack on more to get it to the intensity that I wanted. But I mean, you get what you pay for, $10. You can't expect $65 quality. So that's that. I don't think that this is a bad palette at all. I do feel like this is a little bit up there, so if you've been wanting to try the Huda Beauty palette, the rose gold one, then definitely pick up this one, just because I feel like you will get a very similar look. I mean, if you couldn't tell by my eyes, you'll definitely get a similar look. You can only buy this exclusively over at shophush.com. I do think it's great. I think Bad Habits is really coming out with some awesome replica palettes of some really amazing palettes on the market. So if you have this one, what do you think? What are your thoughts? Can you blend out the mattes good? I felt like I had some issues. Let me know, let's have a conversation. I will be giving away one of the Bad Habits APHRODITE, the Bad Habits APHRODITE palette. I have two. Yes, there's two palettes in here. When I placed my order, I picked up two because I obviously wanted to give back to you guys. So if you want to win one of these palettes, then be sure to check out the description where I will link all the rules. You have to be subscribed to my channel. It's open internationally. It will be open for only 24 hours. Super short giveaway. So if you are one of the early birds, then this could possibly be yours. I will also list the rest of the giveaway rules in the description, like I said. And that is it. I don't think I have anything else to say except I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I'll be sure to catch you guys all on the next one. Deuces.